Jazz Berganzo here. What's next? After doing my first video of comedy goodness, this is comedy nonetheless, but it's just flat out woke nonsense. But then again, it's 2021. Let's take a look. This comes out of the Blaze. Rutgers Gender and Africana Studies professor suggests Ma-Khia Bryant was shot because she was having a bad day and not being perfect. Alrighty then. And this was said on the Joy Reid show. Now, if you don't know who Joy Reid is, that's her right there, all to the left. Commentator. And that's pretty much it. You're not going to get any more than what you're going to get. Basically, it's a race baiting show. That's pretty much it. For the handful of people who watch MSLSD, to quote one Mark Levin. But yeah. Okay. A Rutgers professor appeared on MSNBC's Read Out, original talk show Thursday night, where she came to the overwhelming defense of Ma-Khia Bryant, 16-year-old, who was shot by a police officer while lunging a knife at another girl. A panel discussion about the Columbus, Ohio shooting on Read Out featured Reverend Al Sharpton. Yes, one of the master race baiters, a legend, an OG of shakedowns. The same Al Sharpton who in the mid-'80s claimed that a young girl she was representing was raped by a white gentleman, and it turned out to be a complete and utter hoax. But yet, Sharpton still has a job 35 years later. Go figure. Psychologist Philip Atiba Golf, who happens to be the CEO of Center for Policy Equity. Enough said. And Brittany Cooper, who is a Rutgers University Associate Professor of Gender Studies. Yeah, that's, I heard that pays well. And Africana Studies. Quote, the argument for our movements have never been that black people have to be perfect in order for them to deserve dignity, for us to have good policing or policing. They would probably go with, tomato. For us to be viewed with humanity, for cops to take a breath before they literally get out of their car, guns blazing. Which, of course, is an absolute and flat out effing lie. These stats prove it. The federal statistics, state statistics prove that that is not the case, and it never has been the case. You have bad cops out there. We just saw one put on trial and convicted. Now, the circumstances regarding that case are still going to be up in the air. Was it intentional? Was it not intentional? But you can be the judge on that. Cooper claimed that the prosecution for Derek Chauvin had to be impeccable to get a conviction against the former police officer. No. It was all out of fear. Pretty much it was all out of fear. Had the judgment not come down, the way it did, yeah, you would have seen cities ablaze. It's just a fact. who was found guilty of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in the death of, yeah, you know. Quote, and if the standard, then no black person is really, truly going to be safe if we cannot be having a bad day. Yes, you know, arguments break out. All of a sudden, you whip out a knife. You're about to plunge it into this other person's chest. That's having a bad day. Having a bad day is basically getting frustrated at work with maybe coworkers, maybe the people that you deal with. Having a bad day is maybe like blowing a red light. Having a bad day is you possibly getting overcharged for something that you knew you shouldn't get overcharged for. Those things, amongst others, that constitutes as a bad day. A bad day is not shooting someone, you know, the black on black crime that goes on consistently in Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, and pretty much gets tossed under the rug because, that doesn't make the news. But if a cop's involved, especially a white cop, then it becomes front page. But that's just me. Regarding the bad day quote, Cooper attributed the bad day to the police spokesperson, but he was paraphrasing the murderer as Reason reported. Quote, yesterday was a bad day for him. There was no end to the capacity of law enforcement to emphasize with murderous white terrorists, Cooper wrote on Twitter. Really? Really? Cooper then argued that girls like Bryant are misunderstood. She was adultified. Well, when you're plunging a knife, your childhood is gone. You no longer become a child. You no longer become a teen. You become a full-fledged adult because you did something that only stupid adults would do. OJ, anyone? But, quote, what are we going to do about the way that we don't understand black girls as girls? Ma-Khia Bryant was a child like Tamir Rice was a child. Different circumstance. Cooper said, and the way that she had been talked about this, you know, because she was a big girl, right? So people just see her as the aggressor. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because she was a big girl. Yeah. Quote, they don't see her humanity. They have adultified her. We turn black girls into grown women before they are unable to vote. Doesn't she know that they're trying to lower the age to 16? You know, and are able to see them as children until I have watched folks across the political spectrum really defend this and say, and emphasize with the officer, say that they didn't have any other set of choices. Final quote. If you can't figure out how to de-escalate a 16-year-old, even with a kitchen knife, yes, a kitchen knife, you know, those damn butter knives, I'll tell you, you know. When you have a gun and you're a grown man, you shouldn't be a cop, Cooper ranted on her worthless cable TV show. My take. Once again, the stupidity and the nonsense that we see coming out of the leftist knuckleheads has no bounds. When you have a worthless show led by a worthless commentator, a race-baiting commentator who brings on people who are just going to continue to race bait, what do you expect? So none of these people were the adult in the room who basically said, hey, you know what? We looked at the video. We saw what happening. Bryant was about to plunge the knife down into this girl's chest. What was the cop to do? The cop had to act. I said it all in a previous video. Seconds count. So this is This is continuous. This is continuous nonsense and the BS that the left continue to push. And every time they do something stupid like this and ignorant like this, we are going to call them out on it because it's just too good not to. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is what's next. You want to see more videos just like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share it, hit that subscription button. Make sure you slam that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.